fibers, they are lying somewhere here. Bilaterally. So these are the descending fibers. So they are coming down, the descending fibers, from the brain downward below the atlas after pyramidal decussation or motor decussation. So they are descending fibers in the whole of the length of the spinal cord. So this is the transverse section at any level. We can see these lateral corticospinal tract. And these corticospinal fibers, which are uncrossed, they occupy the anterior column with the uncrossed fibers. Now these corticospinal fibers, they are motor. M for M means they will go to some muscles. So these fibers, now when they descend, they relay in the interneurons. And these interneurons ultimately they relay in the motor horn cell or the ventral horn cell gray matter of the spinal cord. And from here, a motor nerve of 31 pairs of the spinal nerve, the motor component now comes out. So they are the efferent pathway of the spinal cord. So they are the motor fibers. So this is how the 31 pairs of the spinal nerves are formed. 8 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral and 1 or 2 coccygeal. Spinal nerves motor component is the axon starting from the ventral or motor horn of the spinal cord as they exit the intervertebral foramen. So they are all connected above to the precentral gyrus. So this whole gray matter of the precentral or the bed cells up to the interneuron, they are labeled as upper motor neurons. So this is the meaning of what is called upper motor neurons. So upper motor neurons, they are the nothing but they are the neurons or the axons or the nerve fibers whose cell bodies, they are lying in the precentral gyrus. So this whole journey is called the upper motor neuron. Now this is the motor component. So this motor nerve will end into some skeletal muscles of the human body. Any skeletal muscle. If it is of the upper limb, through the brachial plexus, C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 spinal nerves, they constitute the brachial plexus. So they are all the spinal nerves. And from here we know all the radial nerve, median nerve, ulnar nerve, musculoskeletal, all the nerves of the supplying the muscles of the upper limb, they are all the product of the spinal nerves. So whenever the cervical region comes, upper limb, then the brachial plexus is formed. In the thoracic region, the 12 thoracic nerves, they will supply the intercostal muscles as the intercostal nerves. In the lumbar part, they form the lumbar plexus. From the lumbar plexus, all muscles of the lower limb, they are supplied. And in the sacral plexus, they also contribute to the formation of the lumbar plexus. So in this way, all 31 pairs of the spinal nerves, motor nerves, coming from the ventral horn, ultimately the product of the corticospinal fibers, they reach each and every muscle of the human body. One thing more related to it is that there is also a lateral horn in the thoracolumbar and sacral region, and this region we know the cells here, they are controlling the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So lateral gray column is for the sympathetic and parasympathetic system. So the fibers which are starting from the preganglionic fibers, they start from the lateral horn. They also accompany sympathetic fibers, they accompany the motor nerves. So they come out of the spinal cord through the motor nerves. So they are the preganglionic sympathetic or parasympathetic fibers. So the motor nerve brings them out of the spinal cord. As we know, every spinal nerve has got two components. One is the motor, other is the sensory. So sensory is coming, bringing the sensations, general sensations, and through the dorsal root ganglion, which is a pseudo unipolar bipolar cell whose peripheral process is very long, go to the periphery. The central process of this dorsal root ganglion is small, which is entering into the posterior horn and relaying the message to the spinal cord. So sensory is coming. So every spinal nerve is mixed, both motor and sensory component. So these preganglionic sympathetic and parasympathetic fibers, now they accompany the sensory nerves. And as we know, the sensory nerve is coming from dermis of the skin, as we have done from the receptors of pain, temperature, pressure and touch. So all these are coming from the skin, the dermis of the skin. And in the, so these nerves in the skin, they are called cutaneous nerves. The sensory nerves supplying the, coming from the dermis of the skin, they are labeled as cutaneous nerves. So this preganglionic sympathetic fibers, now they are reaching the dermis of the skin. Why they are reaching? Because they have to supply a very important muscle here, and that muscle is attached to the hair follicles. What is the name of this muscle? Arrector pili. We always make the hair in the skin oblique. We never make it a straight. You know its function of hair on the skin of our body, thermoregulation. So this arrector pili is only supplied by the sympathetic fibers. And see how beautifully these sympathetic fibers, they are reaching via the cutaneous nerves, and they supply the arrector pili muscle. So arrector pili is a smooth muscle. So for the smooth muscles of the human body from head to toe, a different system is there, that is called autonomic nervous system. To supply the skeletal muscles of the body from head to toe, CNS has been created. Brain along with the spinal cord, 31 pairs of spinal nerves, they all supply skeletal muscles, no smooth muscles. So this is how the arrector pili got its sympathetic supply through the same motor nerve, and then supply to the jump to the sensory nerve. So this is to be understood. Plus these sympathetic fibers, they also supply the blood vessels in the dermis, the cutaneous arteries and cutaneous veins. So these cutaneous artery and veins in the dermis of the skin contains wall of the vein and artery, you know, it contains tunica media. And what lies in the tunica media? Circularly arranged smooth muscles. Who will give them? And they are only supplied by sympathetic fibers. So this is how the tunica media of the artery and the veins, they are also got the sympathetic supply through the same nerve. So this is how we completely see that how the corticospinal fibers they are placed. Last is the applied anatomy of the spinal cord. In the applied anatomy of the spinal cord, first is the any injury to the spinal cord and the descending fibers. It lead to the loss of connection between the precentral gyrus and the muscle. If there is any journey at this level, this is called upper motor neuron lesion. If there is a damage of the ventral horn along with the motor nerve supplying the muscle, if this is damaged or this motor nerve is damaged or neuromuscular junction is damaged, this is called lower motor neurons. So lower motor neurons are the neurons whose cell bodies they are lying in the ventral horn cells of the spinal cord. So it leads to the paralysis of the muscles. So depending upon which area is involved, if whole of the precentral gyrus is damaged because of the tumor or trauma, then what happens? There is a hemiplegia. Hemiplegia means opposite side muscle paralysis from head to toe. All the muscles of the half of the body are paralyzed, called hemiplegia, because they are crossed. If there is a damage to the right side of the precentral gyrus, patient come with the paralysis of the muscles from head to toe of the left side and vice versa. But if only one upper limb is involved, if only the brachial plexus spinal root, that is C5 to T1 is damaged, patient come with the monoplegia. Monoplegia means only one limb paralysis or one set of the. Other is paraplegia. Paraplegia means bilateral lower limb paralysis. Bilateral lower limb paralysis. So if there is a damage of the lumbar plexus which supply the muscles of the lower limb, then it leads to the bilateral, both the lower limbs they are paralyzed. Patient can't walk, so they call the paraplegia. How to remember? Para means pair. Pair means lower limb. So paraplegia means bilateral lower limb paralysis. So this is how the lesions are there. Another lesions of the spinal cord is also, that is called Brown-Sequard syndrome, that is the hemisection of the spinal cord. So in the hemisection, what happens? Half of the spinal cord is cut or damaged because of the bullet injury or accidental injury. Then what happens? Below the level of the lesion or the injury, the descending corticospinal fibers, which has to supply the muscles of that side, is now connection is lost. So below the level, the muscles of the same side of the lesion or the disease, they are paralyzed. But muscles of the opposite side, below the lesion, they are okay. There is no loss. So this is how in the Brown-Sequard syndrome, there is a motor paralysis or motor loss is on the same side, but there is no motor loss on the opposite side, you have to understand. So this is all about the what we see the corticospinal fibers today, that how they start from the cerebrum, the conscious level of the brain, and how they descend. Because, for example, I want to pick this duster. So first of all, the cerebrum acts. First of all, I think that I want to pick this duster. So this is my decision. And which part of the gray matter is controlling decision? Is this area. That is the prefrontal cortex. Area number 8 or 9. So first, the gray matter here will be activated, that I have made the excision, because this area, what is the function? Prem G, you know Prem G? Personality, reasoning, emotional, memory, judgment. So first I have to make the judgment that I want to pick this. So this area of the gray matter is activated. Now I want to pick this, so this area, this thought through the interneurons or axons association fibers will go to the upper limb area. Precentral gyrus upper limb area is activated, plus lower limb area. So this message from the Prem G area will go to the precentral gyrus. Now this area is activated, lower limb and upper limb. So now this axons of upper limb and lower limb area, or brachial plexus and the lower limb spinal nerves, they will be activated. And I will move, my lower limbs they are moving and my hand is moving. So this is how cerebrum works. The prefrontal area, the motor cortex, and how the descending fibers to the corticospinal, and they go out as the spinal nerve 3 to T1, L5 to L1 to S3 is the lumbar plexus and brachial plexus. So all these are spinal nerves. So this is all about the corticospinal fibers. Thank you.